All right. Of course, I left the bathroom door open. Much better. What's up, everybody? I am settling in for my Sunday, and I wanted to talk about Sundays and the role that they play in my life, my creative life specifically. Usually, right now, I don't have a day job. I'm furiously looking for one, and I'm sure I'll find one soon enough. But usually, I would need to go to work tomorrow, this being Sunday. Today's beverages are Topo Chico, free pub Topo Chico, and some coffee. I just got some new coffee I'm not used to. Stumptown, I think it's called. But this is one of my favorite mugs. My friend Rose got me this she just happened to be going to a thrift store one of the days that I was visiting her and her wife in Tampa, and she saw this and thought of me, and it just made me feel really good. More on reading in a minute, but I came here to talk about just how Sunday plays a role in my creative process and how important it is for me. First of all, happy 420 if you partake. It's not my thing, never been good at it, so I don't fuck with it. I don't like to do things that I'm not good at. I'm not trying to get good at it. So, but happy 420 if you do partake, and good for you if that's your drug of choice, or if it helps you in any way. Happy Easter if that's your thing too. Not my thing. The church really fucked me up, so I don't mess with it. But I know it does a lot of good for some people. The big thing about religion is as long as it does not harm anybody else, knock your socks off. The problem, of course, being, especially with Christianity in America, so often the church is used to justify harming other people or looking down on other people. And that's what I was taught. I was taught that, like, brown people are bad, people who aren't Christian are bad. And the church taught me that. And it's bullshit. And it sucks that that's what I was taught. I've done a lot of work in therapy to unpack the not only that, but also the existential dread that came with being raised in the Christian church. And so, unsolicited advice: don't let your kids go to church, man. Go if you want to go. Let your kids make a decision when they get older, but don't take kids to church. It's not fair. We protect kids from pornography and drugs and alcohol and all those kinds of things that they shouldn't be exposed to. Their everlasting salvation is one of those things. I just don't think kids should be going to church. But hey, who am I to tell you how to raise your kids? It is Easter. It is 420. There's a festival going on in my neighborhood I'm going to go check out, even though I don't partake. I know there's like vendors and other things going on that I'm going to get a chance to go see some friends and hang out and that kind of thing. So I need to get to work because usually Sundays are my work days for the marinade. Lately, I've had the afternoons to work on the marinade, and I've been spending that time pretty wisely and getting a lot done. I got a lot booked this week. This week's very busy. I think I have 4 interviews booked this week, including today. Today, I'm going to record with Pearl Rachinsky, the great visual artist. She also is the tour manager for her husband, John Moreland. And then tomorrow, I have Scott Sherrard from the legendary band Little Feat. I have Matt Anderson later this week and a songwriter named Caitlin Cannon. They have forthcoming records, both of which I can't say enough about. Just fantastic records. If you have been tuned into all these live streams and you watched yesterday I talked about the importance for me of having a day with no agenda. So yesterday was my day with no agenda, except that I took the pups. You see Conundrum lounging there in the background. I took the pups to Spring Hammock Preserve here near Orlando. It's about a 30-minute drive from me in Longwood, Florida. Beautiful, beautiful nature preserve. We had the best damn time. Dogs had so much fun sniffing around and pulling on the leash and just having a great time. Few people out there, wasn't crazy. Real beautiful days we've been having. Today's supposed to get a little bit warmer. It's supposed to get to like 87, I think, today. But it's been like a high of 80 every day. So yeah, that was yesterday. It was like in the 70s when we got out there. It's beautiful, y'all. And then I came back and didn't do much. I booked my trip to Miami on Tuesday with my buddy Jeff. So I booked my train ticket, and we got the train that goes between Miami and Orlando. That's relatively new. I think it opened in August of last year, so I haven't taken that yet. I'm excited for it. I love a train. When I lived in Europe, I interned at the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia back in like 2008, and took trains everywhere and got hooked on it. I just wish America would get their shit together and we could have a network of trains that would just make everything better. Everybody's life would be better except the auto companies and the oil companies, I guess. But man, trains. So I'm excited for that. I'm taking the train down to South Florida. I'm going to see my beloved Reds play the Marlins. We're going to stay the night and then come back on Wednesday. Pretty much in and out because I got a lot of stuff to do here at home, but a little mini vacation Tuesday and Wednesday. So I have a lot of work to do today to make sure that I'm caught up and ready to go for the rest of the week. And Sunday is the day that I do that. So now, here's the challenge. Right now, it's not that hard. Twofold. One, whatever I don't get done today, I can just do tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal, other than the recording that I'm doing later today. So that's not a big deal. But the second thing that is an issue is when football season starts. So if you follow me at all, you know that I am addicted to American football. I'm wearing my Jaguars fan club shirt right now, actually. So when football season starts, that changes things. So I typically have to get up pretty early on a Sunday and try to get everything marinade related done that I need to get done. Otherwise, once the game starts, then I forget it. I'm not getting anything done the rest of the day. So that becomes a bit of a challenge. Now, there's nothing on today. I mean, the Reds play. I forget at what time. I'll put that on in the background. I can do work while I do that. There's 162 Reds games. I don't need to watch everyone intently, and usually don't. I usually keep it on while I'm cooking, or I'll turn the volume down and I'll read, that kind of thing. But we've got a pretty open day today, right? Until 5 o'clock when I'm recording. So I'm going to knock out the editing of the Steve Poltz episode. That's my first goal. And then once I've done that, do a little bit of research for tomorrow. I'm ready for today's conversation. I've been ready for it for a while. So I'll brush up on some of the things that I wanted to, the talking points, and then just flow with it. Pearl and I have gotten to know each other a little bit. So it's going to be much more of a like buddies talking than it is interview style, which is always my goal. And then Scott Sherrard tomorrow, I want to make sure I'm prepared for. He's a relatively new member to the band, the legendary band Little Feat, and they have a new record that's really, really good. It's an interesting conversation because he's not a founding member. The band's been around for like 60 years, something crazy like that. And a lot of the members have passed on or moved on. So it's one of those bands that like continues the legacy of the band, but their personnel has changed quite a bit. Scott was also in Greg Allman's band. So I'm sure there's a lot we're going to have to talk about, and just somebody who's been a part of, American musical history. So I'm excited for that, but I need to do some more research. I've done quite a bit, but I need to listen to the record one more time and do a little bit more research and make sure I'm prepared. I don't know the guy at all. He might be incredibly forthcoming, but sometimes you get somebody that's like either not used to interviews or doesn't care to do press. My guess is this guy does like to do press because the band's pretty big and they could have chosen just about anybody for it, but to sit down with me, but they chose him. So my guess is he's the one that is comfortable doing interviews and is good on mic. I'll watch a couple of interviews or listen to a couple of interviews with him before I go into it tomorrow. So that'll be something I'll do today as well. And so that's a pretty busy day. I would like to crack open my new book, my Murakami book, The City and Its Uncertain Walls, because I finished my Jason Molina biography that I was reading yesterday. heartbreaking. You know the end, right? You know that Melina passes away. And yet it well, in part I didn't want it to end because I knew that was coming. And then also the reality of it really hit. And I didn't realize he passed away in 2013. I remember it happening, but I guess if you asked me to guess, I would have guessed 2010 or 2011. But I have this whole theory about 2013 being like a watershed year for music. Really, from like 2012 to 2014, there's just a bunch of really important records. Sturgill's High Top Mountain and Meta Modern Sounds and Country Music come out like 11 months from each other around that time. Jason Isbell Southeastern comes out then. Good Kid, Mad City from Kendrick Lamar comes out. The first Run the Jewels record came out in 2013. Excuse me. There's just a bunch of stuff that I think is really important to modern American music that happened at the time. And for Melina to pass away at that time, I mean, it's coincidence. I don't believe that he might have believed that there was something more cosmic going on. He was really into ghosts and spirits and things like that, I learned, which makes sense. But I learned that by reading the book. If you listen to his music, I guess it makes a lot of sense that that's the case. But I think it's probably just coincidence, but it does make you kind of scratch your head a little bit and go, was there something cosmic to that, like a passing of the torch kind of thing? I don't know. But Melina lived, he burned, flickered, and died, as American Aquarium might say. Amazing to me, the output that man had, and tragic what his alcoholism did to him. And like I said, I've been thinking about substances a lot. You know, I took a break from drinking. I had a drink last night, a couple of drinks, and I feel fine today. I didn't overdo it or anything, but I can feel the difference. I can definitely feel that I'm like a little less sharp. My body's a little slower. I went hard yesterday. I mean, we hiked, the dogs and I hiked a lot yesterday, so I was very physical yesterday. But still, the alcohol couldn't have helped, especially after being so physical. So something I'm thinking about today, and I'm not going to drink today, especially as I feel that in my body. And then just reading that book and thinking about all the potential that man had. 39 years old, and he didn't start drinking until he was like in his 20s. I mean, he drank himself to death quick, um, which is just so tragic. I mean, some of the stories, it's all, it's all relative, right? Everybody's struggles are different. And I think about that a lot because it's not productive to like compare your own habits to somebody else's. Everybody's body chemistry is different. Everybody's brain chemistry is different, But some of the things he was doing to hide his alcoholism and how heavy he was drinking is just so depressing to think about somebody that talented that gave so much to the world and then 39 years old dead. His body just quit. I don't know. It's definitely got me thinking a lot about myself, my friends, my family, just everybody's habits. And of course, especially my own, and just being aware of it so it doesn't become a problem. And this has been a good time of self-reflection for me as I think about those specific things in that book, as well as Demon Copperhead, the fictional book I read before that, which is centered around addiction, was really helpful for me as well. But today, speaking of which, Steve Poltz, who is sober, I'm going to edit that episode today. Should be a journey. Steve was eating his lunch through most of the interview. So it was one of those things where it's like he had a 45-minute window. So what was I gonna do? Say like, nah, forget it, man. I don't know. You can't eat. You haven't eaten all day, but no, you can't eat right now, sir. So I guess we'll just have to roll with it, and I'll probably put a disclaimer at the beginning saying, "Hey, Steve hadn't eaten, so he's gonna be eating in your ear a little bit." Sorry about that. If that bothers you, this may not be the episode for you. But it's a good one, and I'm really excited to edit it. I keep meaning to get to it, and I've just been so busy with other things, haven't had a chance to. So that's set aside today. After I finish my coffee, I'm gonna shower up and then sit right back here and work on that. And then I'll probably take a little bit of a break before my conversation with Pearl, brush up on what I want to talk to Pearl about, and then also do some Scott Sherrard research and outline some ideas. Always good to have ideas of what you want to talk about. It could go in any direction. It's supposed to be a free flowing conversation. The Marinade with Jason Earl is, but I always like to make sure that I'm prepared. That if the conversation doesn't go, we don't hit it off or whatever, which is rare, but sometimes happens, that I have some talking points that I can refer back to. Now, typically, what happens is I do a bunch of research and then I throw all that shit out the window because we just end up having a cool conversation. But I still like to be prepared. So that's what my Sunday looks like. And then I drop the dogs off to my ex at like 9 o'clock tonight. And then I'll probably go straight to bed because I have a big day tomorrow. I do have a therapy appointment tomorrow, which I'm excited about. It's been way too long and so much has happened in my life since I last had a therapy appointment. Everyone should have access to talk therapy, y'all. If you think you need it, you do. And if you can afford it or your insurance covers it, go. Highly recommend it. Changed my life. I don't know where my life would be right now without it, especially given what's happened in the last 3 years for me. Family things and relationship things and loss and just so much that I've had on my plate and on my mind, on my heart, and talk therapy has really helped me to deal with that. So highly recommend it if you're on the fence or if you still have a stigma in your head about it. Fuck that. Get help. It makes a big difference. And that's all I got for now, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're tuning in the future, we've got a bunch. There's like 4 other episodes so far. I've been doing this every day for the last 4 or 5 days, and I intend to continue it. And it's been a good process for me, just kind of going through my thoughts too, a bit of a journal of sorts for me. So if you've been enjoying it, let us know in the comments, and make sure you subscribe to the Marinade with Jason Earl on your podcast app. Make sure you follow us on all the socials at Marinade Podcast. And until next time, go out and create something. Cheers, y'all.